I was born in Windham, Minnesota. It's a tiny town with a wide open prairie landscape. So my piano teacher's name was Evelyn Butler, and she had an extraordinary way of teaching, which at the time I had no idea about, but I grew to appreciate when I got older, and that is that she taught theory to her students from the very first lesson. Mrs. Butler introduced me to this whole world of the Great American Songbook. From then on, music, it was in me. I dreamt of being a composer, but coming from a town like Windham, it seemed like too far of a goal. Like who would I be to come from Windham, Minnesota and say I want to be a composer? So I hid that dream for a while. When I started studying classical composition specifically at Minnesota, my teacher's name was Paul Fettler, and he heard so much jazz influence coming into my music, and he didn't really know exactly what to do with me. And he did the best thing he could have done. He said, Maria, there's a big band at the school. Why don't you go watch them rehearse and write something for them? I had an aha moment. Somebody invited me to a concert of Toshiko Akiyoshi. And the thing that struck me was, here was a person who was traveling with a big band essentially, playing in a classical concert hall for almost a sold out, if not sold out, house. And I thought, wow, this is something you can do to make a living. And that just struck me. So I was lucky enough to get an apprenticeship with the National Endowment for the Arts, and I chose to study with Bob Brookmeyer, and it was one of the greatest opportunities of my life. Orchestrating for Gil Evans is something that's just something no mortal should do. But here I was in my 20s doing it. And I remember just thinking, no wonder Gil's music is just undeniably him. Those were the moments that made me say, I gotta start my own band, because I need to find out what are my quirks. I wanna find out who I am. So I had come out of school with a composition degree, and I was composing, and I started writing the music in that period that ended up being the music on my first album, Evanescence. So I had saved up enough money, being a music copyist, to think about recording my own band, and record companies had turned me down, so I just decided, okay, I'm gonna record this music and then see if I can sell it to somebody. And we caught a magic on that record. I was offered a gig to perform weekly at Visioni's in Greenwich Village, which was a great place because it had a low cover charge, had a lot of walk-by people, so those people would just come in on a whim to hear the band. And I was terrified when I first got the gig because I didn't have that much music, and I thought, playing every week, and it went a couple of months, and then they said, let's continue. Well, it went for 5 years. These are people that I get to develop the music with. And so they are just such an intimate part of who I am as a composer. So I'm just eternally grateful to all of them. I carry a piece of all of them in my music. The best part for me about working with David Bowie was, and it happened right here in this spot, he was standing right here in front of me, and I think of it all the time because I was so scared when we were working together, and I said, David, what if you don't like it? What if we spend all this time and this money recording this big band thing and you hate it? And he just laughed and he said, Maria, the great thing about music is if the plane goes down, we all walk away. That single statement that he made right here has helped me when I'm turning around and facing the piano and writing on my writing board to just say, oh, let's try this. What's to lose? Let's risk it. And I'm so thankful for that. To me, music is an expression of life. And music is just the conduit. And I am still expressing things from my childhood because to me there was so much magic there.